blonde walks into a shoe store and tries on a pair of shoes. "How do they feel?" asks the sales clerk. "Well, they feel a bit tight," replies the blonde. The assistant promptly bends down. Oh, what's the rest of my joke? Bends down and says, "Well, pull out the tongue." And she says, "It's still a little tight." Okay, let's move on to Act 13. Dick Stephen does the magic shows in the area and thought we would get a sampling of his talents.
Everybody ready to see some magic? Most people think that magic is done with smoke and mirrors and hidden compartments and trap doors. And that's not necessarily true. A lot of magic is performed with sleight of hand. And sometimes other magic is performed with doing illusions. And that's making you think you see something that's not there. Or maybe not see something that really is there. Tonight, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to perform the trick. I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm going to show you and tell you how you can make it. And then I'm going to perform it again and hope to fool you. Maybe I will and maybe I won't. But let's take a look and we'll see. On this card, on this side, I have one spot. On the other side, I have 4. Now remember, on the last side, I had 3, and on the other side, I have 6. Everybody with me on this so far? Let's do it one more time. On this side, I have 1 spot. On this side, I have 4. On the third side, I have 3, and the fourth side, I have 6. Does anybody know how that's done?
Yeah.
Nobody? Well, let me explain this. One time I did it for a kindergarten class. A little girl in the front row stood up and said, "No, mister, you only have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she was actually right. There is only 5. See, it's not until they get into the 1st and 2nd grade where they start learning their multiplication tables, and they also play games with dominoes and dice. And then when they see this, they see the 2 by 3 and they assume that there's 6. Or this way here, they assume that there's 4. But the thing is, you gotta be a little older to understand all this. On this side here, how many of you think that there was 1? How many knew that there was actually 2? See, it's not too bad either. But the thing is, you can make this at home. All you got to do is get a piece of white cardboard, get a magic marker, put 2 dots on the one side, 5 on the other. 2 on the first side and 5 on the other. And I always tell the kids, don't try to fool your younger brothers and sisters. They won't understand it. Go for grandma. But the thing is, when you go for grandma, she might actually think she's seeing 6 spots on the one side. And when you turn it over, she might think she's seeing 3. But the thing is, if she starts seeing more than that, it could be magic. Thank you. I want to tell you a little story. First of all, how many of you have grandkids? How many of you have great-grandkids? Oh, you gotta love them, don't you? The only thing that gets me is when they're real young. Boy, they have so much energy. It's hard to keep up with them. My granddaughter, Angela, she's 8 years old right now. And she likes to stay overnight, a lot of times on the weekends. And I remember about 4 years ago, she was in her mid-4s. She stayed overnight. My wife and I were sleeping. All of a sudden, I opened my eyes up in the morning, and it's like, whoa! She's this far in front of my face. And I, surprised the heck out of me. I says, "What are you doing, Angela?" She says, "I want to see if you're awake." She says, "I want some breakfast." I said, "Okay." So I got up, went to the kitchen, got her some cereal. She kind of was content with the cereal, and I thought, well, let me go into the living room, turn the TV on, maybe I can find a Cartoon Network, and then she'll watch cartoons and be happy, and I can sneak back to bed for a little bit. So I went into the living room, I look on the coffee table, and I see my newspaper. I said, Angela, did you tear my newspaper up in little pieces? She says, yeah, Poppy, I did. I thought it'd be easier for you to read. I says, well, hon, I thank you very much. But I says, the only thing is, you can read the headlines, but it's hard to read the whole article. I said, for example, semi-trailer carrying wigs turns over on I-75. Police still combing the area. Well, that was kind of good. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Whoopi Goldberg plans to marry Peter Cushing. She will now be called Whoopi Cushion. Anyways, you kind of get the idea. See what else we got here. Tornado hits cemetery in Inglewood. Hundreds dead. Man drinks brake fluid every day. He says not to worry. He can stop anytime. Anyways, but you get the idea. But so I said, well, hon, I says, I appreciate that you did that. I says, but the only problem is I really can't read the article because I can see the headlines, but the article you really can't read. So I said, well, what can I do? And she says, well, Poppy, she says, you're a magic man. She says, why don't you see if you can put it back together? And the reason she said that is because she couldn't say magician. You know. So I says, well, hon, we'll see what we can do. I don't know if it can be done or not. You know. Anyway, so I managed to put it back together. Okay. Well, it's getting to be about that time of the show. Got one act to go. Appreciate everybody coming. Everybody have a good time? I don't know if you realize it or not, but you all play a very important part in the show. Some of us were amazed. Some of us laughed. Some of us applauded. And some of us didn't. But that's okay, because every piece of the show all plays a vital part in the show. And if we take all these pieces and we put them together, come on, let's put them together here. We might be able to do some magic.